You've waited a lifetime to look better and feel better, and now here's your chance. Fitness Friday on WNDB. Call 239-0033 and have your questions answered on health, fitness, and a better life. Fitness Friday is brought to you by Bodez by Tasso & Company, 1140 West Granada Boulevard in Ormond Beach. And now, here's your host, Tasso Kyriakis.
All right, welcome to Fitness Friday. And Sean, thank you for stepping in for
Always
Dave
a pleasure to
with
be
a
here
family
with you, Tasso.
emergency. Yep. So, and you know what? I forgot to text my doctor his our phone number. We have to go to record. I have to run out and get my phone.
Oh dear.
So, it's been a while since we've been together, Sean. So I have not. You haven't probably heard the news of what's going on at Bodez, as maybe some of our listeners haven't. And so, at Bodez Personalized Fitness, where our main focus is our personalized fitness and how we do that and work with people. But the thing that we have just ventured into is, as we have always done, bringing the latest technology into our club. And the latest technology is a thing called Fitness on Demand, which is a group exercise component. Now, years ago, we had one of the nicest group exercise rooms and had a great group exercise program. And then through the miracle of it looks good on paper, I said, I don't know if we need group exercise for what we do, because our thing is strength training, making people stronger, make them fitter through use of strength training philosophies, and weight loss. So I figured, maybe we don't need the group exercise. Well, on a profit loss statement, it looked like a good decision. On a taking care of your members and potential new members, it wasn't such a good decision. So we got rid of group exercise, and one of my frustrations in running group exercise was when you had a schedule, you always had like either the right class, at the right time with the wrong instructor. So someone come and say, "Oh, I love step class," or "Oh, I love body pump," and then what would happen is they would all of a sudden end up not liking the instructor. Or they come and say, "Oh, I love that instructor, but I don't like taking body flow." So what we have done is we have put in this Fitness on Demand, which has 122 different types of classes and different types of time frames. It doesn't matter if you want to dance, stretch, meditate, bounce, box. It doesn't matter what you want to do. That class is there. And not only is that class there, has variable time frames to fit your schedule from the standpoint of how long the class is. And it also has different levels, easy, regular, and competitive. So now what you can do is you can go into the comfort of this room. You can bring a friend or two if you'd like to, and you poke up the class that you want. You go to basically what looks like an big iPod a kiosk on the wall. You take the thing, you say, "I want a flexibility class. I want it to be easy," and all your options come up. So then what you do is you plug that, a screen comes down, a 120-inch screen comes down, and what you do is you then take take that class with no self-consciousness about, "Oh my God, am I doing a good job on the class?" or anything like that. So that's what we put in, and right now we offer, with what we have available, about 70 classes.
Oh, no kidding, that many.
So, and I met the guy that's going to be the manager of that new LA Fitness in Port Orange yesterday, and they were bragging, "We have 60 classes a week." That's great, but we have 70 available right now that are all different classes, with 57 other ones that you can use if you bring like your own kettlebells or you bring your own barbell, because we don't have that right now. And as we do our membership promotion, we're going to add that equipment so more of those classes become, like we have one spinning bike. We want to have 6 spinning bikes in there, and we'll add that as the program begins to get better and bring more members and things of that nature. But now what happens is, imagine this, that problem I had in frustration of trying to run a quality club and run that club from the standpoint of allowing people to really enjoy their class. What we've done to it is we said, listen, you can take whatever class you want. whatever time you want, and you can do it with the best instructors in the country. And every class that's offered has different instructors, but all of them are the top-notch instructors. Now, in order to get this kicked off, what we have done is put a very special promotion in place. It's $14 to start your membership. You pay a $20 card fee. And then if you choose our Body Coach membership, which is our most popular membership, then what will happen is you will have your first month's dues included in that. So we have set up a program that really works from a great standpoint of working to get people the convenience. You know, convenience is what people are talking about in fitness. We see the $10 clubs that are convenient financially. We see the 24-hour all-access clubs, which are convenient from the standpoint of your schedule. We're not going to go to either of those two formats. We're not going to be open 24 hours. At this time, we are not going to offer a $10 membership. So we had to bring convenience in of bringing some of the things that those clubs can't always offer you. So the phone number is 672-6464, and I hope soon to be joined on the air by, I've asked a couple people to join us today. One is going to be Dino Paspalakis from the Boardwalk Merchants Association, because, you know, they've set their schedule up for their fireworks and their theme bands that are going to be down there. And hopefully Dr. Mike Epitropoulos is going to be able to swing free today to join us. But what I wanted to start talking about is, you know, in the mindset, you know, I have a picture of my head on a bodybuilder's body. I don't know if you've ever seen that in our advertisements and stuff and that, but I say, and I my theme to that is, you know, if this is what your vision of a fitness center is, then we're probably not the fitness center for you, because we tend to look at fitness from the standpoint of we want to reverse the aging, we want to reverse the disease process. All those things can be done. So we really look at ourselves and say, hey, this is where medicine meets exercise. And what do our programs do? Our programs speed metabolism. You know, people who go on weight loss programs, go on low-calorie weight loss programs, deprive themselves. What we do by putting our program together and building lean body tissue, which a lot of women are afraid of. They're afraid, I don't want to get muscle bound. But, you know, if you were to take, and we have an example of this. We have a lady named June that in her program, she lost a half a pound on the scale in 12 weeks. Now, you'd say, wow, that's not very good. Well, in her program, when she do her body fat, she ate enough calories that her body was in this really perfect balance of changing its shape and that. And in that 124 and a half pounds that she began at and the 124 that she ended up, she actually lost 12 and a half pounds of fat, and she gained 12 pounds of muscle. Now, what that meant to her body is that all her measurements were smaller. She lost 1.5 inches in her thighs, 2 inches in her hips. Her fanny became a pointer, not a setter, you know, because she was in her 40s. She lost 3/4 of an inch on each one of her arms and got tremendous definition to her arms and shoulders.
So what you're saying is that to be healthy doesn't necessarily mean being rail thin.
Well, do you know, here's a statistic. We tend to, because of medical programs, because it's easy to do, we do height and weight tables. And we've put a twist on height and weight tables, and we've done BMI now is what we've done. And BMI is body mass index. So they do like your hip, your weight, your height, and your hip measurements. And this BMI, 25, you want to be below 25 to be supposedly healthy, okay? Well, of the people who are below 25 on their BMI, 70% of them in a recent research project that had 28,000 people in it were actually over fat. So we know that good health for women is around 20 to 22% body fat. So healthy women jiggle a little bit, okay? They're not that rock hard kind of body. Men tend to be 15 to 18%, where our health is the best, where we have the lowest risk factor of things. So we want to do it. We can afford to do that because we have a little more testosterone than women. So we build the muscle a little bit faster. Some of us don't have that genetic potential, but we can get stronger. So what happened to this lady June is that when she gained that 12 pounds of lean body tissue, her metabolism went up 400 calories a day. Now imagine that you could do the equivalent of running 4 miles a day, how that would help you keep your body in shape without doing anything. So as long as she worked out her 2 days a week and stayed active doing her tennis 1 or 2 days a week, she was doing a great job of keeping her metabolism up by virtue of that program. So by virtue of building muscle, we speeded up her metabolism. We expanded her ability for muscle growth, which was important because here's why. As you age, every decade, men and women tend to lose 5 to 7 pounds of lean body tissue. This is why women, when you were 25 or 30 years of age, you started to see this change from when you were 20, and you could skip a few meals or you could just run a few miles, and all of a sudden your body came boom back. Well, this process of dieting and that has contributed to weight loss of lean body or muscle tissue, which slowed our metabolism down. So we want to recapture that. That's how we turn back the aging clock, is to maintain that good lean body tissue. At the same time, we want to increase range of motion of your body. We want all your body parts to work. This is going to stave off those bursitis and the arthritis and that type of thing. We increase in our program function and performance. What we do is not about how much weight you raise, how much weight you lift. It's about how you perform that work. Okay, so we increase that performance and your ability to do that work. We reduce your fat content of your body. That gives you the shapeliness. We increase your energy, which is very important from the standpoint of doing our jobs every day, as I'm sure you know. And then we also optimize hormonal production, which means when we're able to do that, we're able to, if you're a female especially, but males too, if you got that middle of the afternoon tiredness, and you've got that mood shift kind of thing going on, that feels, hey, you haven't eaten anything, get yourself a Snickers bar. It may not just be what you're eating. It may also be that your metabolism is out of balance from the standpoint of your hormonal aspect. And when we get you into these programs, we really want to assess where you're at, especially in the one-on-one program. I spend about an hour and a half going through this assessment of your exercise history, your medical history, all the way back to when you were a teenager and younger. Okay, I want to know if when you were 7 years old, you fell out of a tree and injured your clavicle, because that may or may not affect you down the line. If you're having headaches now, it may be from an accident that you had 25 years ago, but you don't have the lean body tissue that you used to have. So I evaluate our people that come into our one-on-one program on 2 different categories. Number one is, what's their motivational type? Are they a thoroughbred? Are they like the guy that came in last night and told me, man, I'm just not in great shape. I swam 3,000 yards this morning and I ran 3.5 miles. He swam more than most people will walk in a day. He's a thoroughbred. He's going to tell you he's not in as good a shape as he should be, and you want to slap him because he's in that good a shape, The second one is a phoenix. That's the person that they say, listen, I used to be in shape when I was in school. That's a phoenix. And it's like the old mythical Greek bird that, comes out of the ashes, flies off, lives in optimal health for 500 years and comes back and dies in the ashes. It's a phoenix. And the other one, which is the more common one, is the chrysalis. The chrysalis is that caterpillar stage where people don't realize the potential they have from fitness, or the potential they have to reverse the disease process, or the potential they have to truly be successful, because number one, they've fallen for all the gag and gimmick things for weight loss. They've bought the shake weights, and everybody laughs when I say they bought the shake weight, but they did $57 million in 1 quarter with that shake weight advertisement. So those parts of the thing, when we look at people, we're looking at to see what's going on. So that's the first area we evaluate a potential one-on-one client in. The second area is we try and get their type of what matches up to them. Do they need someone that needs to be a drill sergeant, an accountability, a focus person? Or do they need the goals given to them? Or do they need the enthusiasm of a cheerleader? Or maybe they just need the education of a teacher. Now, all 4 of those personalities from the trainer standpoint are there. What we do is find out the balance that they best are served. In this process, we also learn about you, how you learn best. Are you kinesthetic? Are you verbal? Are you visual? How do we teach you the best? And the final thing is, what's your motivation? Are you moving towards something? Are you saying, hey, listen, I want to get back in shape and look good in my bathing suit? Or are you saying, my dad had cancer and heart disease and I want to avoid it? So those are sort of the 4 or 5 platforms that we evaluate people on before they come in and determine where they're at. So when we look at these things, we're able now to really assess and go. The foundation of our program is supportive nutrition and strategically integrated exercise. That's how we put it together. Now with that, it's a perfect time to take a break to be joined by my friend Dr. Mike Epitropoulos on the line. Mike, thank you for calling in from your busy schedule. I appreciate you calling in today.
Thank you, Tasso. It's a pleasure and honor to be on the call with you.
Well, Mike, before we even start, you grew up in Daytona Beach. You had a sabbatical where you went to Michigan for a while. You're one of the most educated guys I know from childhood. We've known each other, and I know you've gone through chiropractic school, dental school, medical school. You've really pursued education and have a very broad range education. So tell us first, before we talk about anything, tell us a little bit about your practice that's now set up in Ormond Beach, right down the street from Bodez.
Well, Tasso, thank you for that compliment, and I give you back to the same, your walk in education and being a major force in this community and exercise and physiology and all that you do for this community. What we have here, Tasso, is a wellness medicine practice. And we specialize in really dealing with any type of health issue under the sun and really taking the best from both worlds. Of course, the best from medicine, of course, especially the best from natural medicine. So when they come in, we're going to identify using a lot of German technology. The European technology is very much ahead of us. And we're able to use some technology over there that I brought over here to identify whatever weak link of the body is occurring to cause that particular health issue that person is dealing with. So we're going to detect it, and then we're going to utilize natural medicines to start harnessing the healing ability of the body. We're going to make some food dietary changes with them, and we're just going to really start promoting the healing process, if you will.
So in reality, you're this new breed of physician that is a functional physician that says, most doctors practice, Mike, this is what it looks like. You come in, they say, oh, yeah, you have high blood pressure. Boy, you need to lose a couple pounds and get that blood pressure down. I have a guy came into me yesterday. He says, my doctor said if I don't get 30 pounds off in the next 60 days, and he's put me in the hospital because his blood pressure was so high. Mm-hmm. And what he did was he gave him medication now and said, well, go out there and get it done, kind of thing. This is the threat of what we're going to do to you to get you into this.
Right.
And so what happens is they've been given a medication which is on my disease continuum. We make the mistake as lay people to say, I got a medicine. It fixed my problem, my high blood pressure, or my high cholesterol, or my triglycerides, or whatever problem was addressed by the medication, which the medication usually carries some sort of side effect. As a functional physician, what you're doing is the traditional doctor's practice ended at saying, you've got high blood pressure, here's a prescription, go get it filled. Mm-hmm. You now go the next step, which is to say, let's find out why you have high blood pressure. Is it toxicity? Is it overweightness? Is it stress? That's where your practice truly begins, correct? That's
correct, Tesla. It's a great way of summarizing it. We're just like you're saying, we're saying, let's go the extra step now, see what is the source and cause of this blood pressure, and let's get you proactive being the patient. Let's get them involved in their health. Because what's happening now, we're finding, because of course the expense of health insurance and how things are going, as you're saying, the individual is realizing they have to become active. They have to become a participant in their health care. They're proactive. So we're getting them proactive and saying, let's find out the source. Let's see what we have to do using natural medicine. In addition, in conjunction with the medication they're already on, which is going to take them the extra mile. It's going to correct the problem. They're going to make those dietary changes. They're going to see you about what do they need to do for their exercise and such stuff like that, so that they then become empowered. The patient feels empowered and excited and feels that, hey, I'm really involved in this circle, so to speak, Well,
a lot of people might think when they get sick or they have these things, it's like, oh, this happened to me. The doctor told me I have type 2 diabetes today. Mm-hmm. That type 2 diabetes is a product of their lifestyle and their life choices. Absolutely. They've made. And what you say is getting them integrated and getting them excited about it. So, your practice really goes where mine says, hey, listen, we're supportive nutrition to the body, we're strategic integrated exercise. Yours says we have a diagnosis process, and just the sort of pontificate a little bit, I think our foundations sit on the same 4 pillars. Number one is we look to get people to eat for anabolism and to eat for fuel, because too many people eat for weight loss and deprivation. And means getting the amino acids, which are the cellular building blocks for proteins, getting these complete, efficient proteins into the body, getting protein-sparing nutrients like that fuel the supply to protect those building blocks from being metabolized. Because a lot of people take so few calories in, they don't realize that they lose some of those lean proteins to a process called gluconeogenesis, which converts them to carbohydrates, which actually throws off a lot of what we would typically call uric acid or amines products that cause the body not to function. So those protein-sharing nutrients, are things like potatoes, sweet potatoes, avocados, brown rice, oatmeal, veggies, that a lot of people out there think, oh, they're bad because they're carbohydrates, right? Mm-hmm. So we sit very, very, very the similar foundation. The second thing that we talk about is developing a movement program that helps us to move, work against resistance, and twist so that we challenge the body. And the third part of that is we begin to pump oxygen into that body, and we have a system that says we're going to recover. We understand that there's stress on the body, and you see this. You have to evaluate this. There's emotional stress. There's physical stress. There's negative stress interpretation. And one of the things that I think you are probably dealing with more than any other physicians in the area is toxic stress. People have been exposed to these, and as a dentist, you understand it from the standpoint, your dental background, what mercury fillings did to people. They go to the dentist, they get these things drilled out, and they come home with a headache, and they wonder why I have a headache. They must have drilled too hard. No, that vaporized that mercury, and because maybe precautions were taken, you got those vapors in, and you now have an intoxication system going on.
Along those lines, Tasso, exactly that. What we see a lot of, first of all, everybody's acidic, and we're going to get them alkaline because an alkaline body is a healthy body. So one of the issues and results of the toxicity is they become very acidic. So we're going to put them in a way of eating that's going to alkalize. We stress, of course, the vegetables, particularly the greens, the dark fruit, kind of shying away from of course, we talk about the white stuff, that creates the acidity. And so that toxicity or acidity issue we deal with detoxifying them. The big issue, too, a lot of folks have a plethora of virus, bacteria, yeast, and parasite because their bodies have become acidic. So there's something known as candidiasis, candidas. Right. We deal a lot with helping get rid of that because that's the cause of a majority of the illnesses they're coming in with. Whatever the health condition is, we've got to, get that gut in balance, the floral balance going on. We got to get them alkaline. We're going to help show them how, through natural medicine and dietary changes, to eliminate that candidiasis and get control of course, support and the immune system. Of course, is a very big issue. Most people have a fatigued immune system, so we're going to show them how we can use natural medicines and dietary changes to build that up. And this all spells, again, getting optimum health. Ultimate healing, if you will.
And again, something that has been part of my discovery process the last 4 or 5 years, Mike, is the understanding, first of all, dysbiosis, which, is understanding the balance of that gut that you mentioned. Because, so much happens, and we've been talking, you haven't had a chance to listen to the show, I don't think so. Let me give everybody out there sort of a quick review why this is such a great blend for us to speak together. Number one is that we now propagate and speak to groups that we have the opportunity to speak to, that there's 3 things we concern ourselves with. And I think you'll agree with all 3 of these, and jump in if you have commentary on them. Number one is that inflammation is the cause of all the diseases that we're seeing that are degenerative to the body. The diabetes, the arthritis, and all these things are hinged on inflammation. Mm-hmm. Stress is the mother of that inflammation.
Absolutely.
And now by employing a synergy process of good nutrition, balance of rest in our exercise program that allows us to build muscle and get moderate aerobic exercise, and using our burst system that we now use in our one-on-one program, we're able to reverse those effects of stress. So in turn, as we reverse those effects of stress, the body is allowed to recover. Now stress causes less inflammation, which now promotes a healing process if you're feeding and resting the body correctly. And I think that that's one of the things that we have to promote. And one of the things sometimes that is necessary and what I found very helpful is to use fasting, which is something you and I are very familiar with because we grew up in the Greek Orthodox Church where, our mom says you're going to eat peanut butter and jelly for 40 days, right? And you're only going to have beans because they're easy to digest. We didn't know that. We didn't know why we were doing it. We just knew that, do this because it's what we're supposed to do in our faith. And we did those things. And really what we're discovering now is they're a huge healing process.
Absolutely.
To the body. And they allow the body to rest. And one of the other things that I don't know that you'll agree with, but I'll tell you that I've recently discovered from my newfound friend Jordan Rubin, and that is that there is benefit sometimes to skipping breakfast.
Absolutely.
He promotes a system of eating in periods of time eating at 12:30 as your first meal, and ending by 6:30. And allowing the body to have a 18-hour fast and rest period and a 6-hour eating time. And ironically, when you take the practice of how we tell people to set their eating up, I was visiting with the guys that have opened Complete Nutrition yesterday, and I was happy to see that their philosophy of how we eat is the same. Let's eat good foods. Let's pick good foods. Let's take our plate, let's divide it in half and put fibrous carbs on it. On a quarter of it, let's put starchy carbs, and let's put lean protein. And then let's build from that. Let's not count calories because we've really gotten into that and fallen into that trap. How does that run with your practice?
Oh, I agree 100% with Jordan. Jordan has got a great, wonderful, I'm a big fan of his program, and I think what you just outlined is exceptional. And the one thing that to kind of segue into dealing and talking about the stress, Tasso, and its effect on the body, certainly one of the things we really focus in on when our patients come in and we test them on this technology we have, their adrenals. Their adrenals are exhausted. They're fatigued. Everybody's walking around today with post-traumatic stress syndrome. So you've got adrenal fatigue going on. You've got thyroid fatigue going on because those are two glands, obviously, that are very much impacted by stress. So we have a program to revitalize, which you and I will speak to, I'm sure, together in the near future on restoring, rejuvenating the adrenal glands, the thyroid gland, the implications of that on all kinds of health issues, because those seem to be overlooked by traditional medicine because stress obviously is a killer. It's a silent killer because of the effect it's having just to start with on the adrenals and thyroid, and it's like fuses in the fuse box. One blows out and it's a domino effect, and then it implicates the immune system, and it's a whole cascade of things happening. So, we really look at some foods and dietary changes, and additionally we're able to use nutraceuticals to restore and rejuvenate those very critical endocrine glands, the adrenals and thyroid.
And the other thing is, I think in medicine, and they tend to look at the thyroid an awful lot for people who have weight loss resistance and that, and really they overlook. It's like they've forgotten about this ACTH cycle that goes on through the hypothalamus and this balance. And the first of the show, I was talking about in our program, one of the goals we have in the design of our program is to rebalance and restore the hormonal balance. And this is gonna solve a lot of weight loss resistance problems for people. It's going to solve a lot of energy problems for people, and it's going to allow their body to begin to function. But again, sometimes you have to take a step back, and that's, again, you have the tools to evaluate a lot of this. We deal with things like the dysbiosis we can measure with a very simple test, and that because we forgot that one other thing I didn't tell you about is the other big triangle. I call it our big triangle is the brain, the gut, and the immune system, and they're balanced. If they're in balance, everything works.
Absolutely.
And I like to go back to the story of a young man named Curtis Mitchell that we trained, who is a bronze medalist in the world championships in track and field. When Curtis came to me, he had an issue with his hamstring that couldn't heal, and he was trained like a maniac. I mean, he's a very driven young man. And in the course of our evaluation that I was talking about earlier in the show, as we went through, he said, I said, how do you eat? He said, well, I got a little bit of a stomach problem. I said, did you always have a stomach problem? No, he says, just started the last couple of years. I said, when does hamstring problem start with you? Oh, the last 18 months or so. Well, we got him eating a little more raw, a little more organic, a little better quality of food, he couldn't fast because his caloric expenditure every day from his training was too much. But we got these better foods integrated into this eating style that we just talked about. Lo and behold, he goes from being a guy that's sitting on the sidelines, missing the Olympic championships and Olympic trials, to qualifying for the World Championship team and winning a bronze medalist and running the fastest 200-meter time at the World Championships in the semifinal round. Now, that's not coincidence that stomach problem was related to that hamstring problem that he had. And again, people don't make that connection of how the whole system works and healing and working like you tie together for him.
You're absolutely correct, Hasso, and that's what you and I both strive is, again, the information that such as this that we're giving out to empower them to realize there are connections and there's interdependency. The organs are working together. In fact, what's really neat, and I may have not any time to talk about this today, but the next time, but the fact that every cell and organ tissue is at a certain resonance or frequency, we talk about, and this is what we call energy medicine, and which I practice here. And so we're looking at the body from an energetic level, and you know that you and I have been talking about this microcurrent, this low-frequency electricity that's very innovative, and it's big in Europe. It's been around for quite a long time and innovative in Germany, but they recognize through the studies that every cell, tissue, organ is at an energetic level. And once there's a disruption, to show the interdependency of how the body works, once there's a disruption of that energetic level, the resonance or change in that, the disease process ensues. So it's a matter of bringing the body back in harmony, if you will, in balance, as you're saying. Because when there's this imbalance going on, energetically, studies have shown, this is when the disease process begins.
Okay. Hey, Mike, I'm getting a signal for us to take a break. Can you hold on through the thing if you got time? Okay, we're gonna take a break. I want to remind people, we have the Fitness on Demand program that has begun at Bodez. Get the class you want, when you want it, with the best instructors in the world. At your level, beginner, regular class, or that varying time frames, all from 9 minutes all the way up to an hour, like the traditional classes are. It fits your schedule, it fits your fitness level, and it fits your comfort level because you can bring your friends with you and do it. You could enroll today for only $14, a $20 card fee, and select your first month's dues to which plan you'd like. Also, we have some specials on our one-on-one program. Phone number is I had a burp in there, 672-6464. That's 672-6464. And we'll be coming back with our guest, Dr. Mike Epitropoulos, in just a moment.
You have a story to tell, a product to sell. You want people to know what you do and how it can make their business better. You need Sun Beach Consulting. Sun Beach Consulting is your marketing partner. Whether your business is large or small, Sun Beach Consulting helps put all the pieces together. Coaching, traditional marketing, promotions. Call for a free 1-hour consultation, 321-296-1296, or visit us at sunbeachconsulting.com today and get the ball rolling.
Fitness on Demand. Think about it. You get that urge to do an exercise class. The class you want, on the schedule you want, and the best instructor in the country. Exercise classes are back at Bodez Personalized Fitness with the all-new Fitness on Demand program, which offers over 100 different classes with time frames as short as 9 minutes for daily burn or up to 1 hour traditional classes. It doesn't matter if you want to pump, stretch, dance, pedal, box, or meditate. We have the class for you that fits into your schedule. Bodez by Tazo & Company continues to lead our community with offering the most up-to-date technology, programming, and science to make you happy, healthy, energetic, and fit in the safest, most effective ways. We invite you to experience Fitness on Demand and our new fitness programming for as low as $14 enrollment. That's right, $14 begins your fitness and health program. Call today, 672-6464. That's 672-6464 to set an appointment to begin your program and enjoy the new technology of fitness on demand. All right, we're back with my guest and friend, Michael Epitropoulos. Hey, Mike, you were talking about the vibrations in the system. About 2 years ago, you actually did a presentation for my youth group when I had my youth event here. I think maybe it was 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, where you talked about how music affects our health in that. But I don't want to get into that because I want to talk a little bit about the experience I had with you last week. I've been going to acupuncture. I had a surgery that didn't really turn out real well. It hasn't gone well. It's ironic. I do hundreds of knee rehabs every year. And the worst one I've had in 30 years is my own, And I actually listened to the doctor I had. So, I'm sitting there going, why did I just follow the protocols I know work? But I came over to you because I'm having a lot of problem with inflammation in my knee and a lot of pain. And you put me on a machine that is part of that, I think, European technology you're telling me about. And you actually gave me a little device to take home with me. Tell the people about it. But, before they do that, you should probably give them your phone number and your location, because we haven't said that yet.
Oh, thank you, Tasso. No worries. And like you, Tasso, I'm here to help with any needs as far as even questions folks have, what they can do for their health issues. We're here to empower. We're here to give help and information. They can, but first of all, reach me email-wise at healing, HEALING, physician, PHYSICIAN at AOL.com. That's healing physician at AOL.com. We are at 1050 West Granada Boulevard, Suite 2. And if they would like to contact us, they can call us at 386-274-2520. The technology that you're referring to, Tasso, is European technology. As I said, we use a lot of that type of technology here, and it's called microcurrent. It's a low-frequency electricity, and we're really blessed to have the authentic microcurrent because, unfortunately, as you well know, there's knockoffs of so many things out there, even, from vitamins to anything that works, they start, to make imitation of it. Well, the original microcurrent was developed in Germany, and the doctor that really introduced it to the U.S. actually lives in our neighborhood, Dr. Milovich, John Milovich, and he and I have been friends for a very long time. He introduced me to the technology back in 1998. I've been using it since then. And microcurrent, as I said, is a low-frequency current. It's not it's not milliamperage as we know tens. Tens is milliamperage. This is a more of a what we call a microcurrent is a low-frequency microamperage. And there's a really big difference when we look at the effect it has on, for example, ATP, the energy source of the cell. That is what determines how long we live. Well, the amount of ATP declines as we age, so we want to do things to increase that ATP. When you do microcurrent therapy, it increases it by 500%. It increases cell membrane transport, the ability of nutrients to get into the cell, to penetrate the cell, by 30 to 40%. It increases protein synthesis, which is the repair process for the cells to rebuild themselves, by 73%. These are important factors in the process of healing to occur. So what we see with microcurrent as a result of those facts that I gave and other things it affects, including DNA synthesis and T lymphocyte activation, which is stimulating our natural killer cells, is that it speeds up the healing process no matter what the health problem the person has. It's going to speed up that healing of that process, the healing of that issue, number one. Number two, it has significant issues for pain management. We begin to see some tremendous changes with whatever the musculoskeletal condition is. We start to see it heal, and we start to see the pain resolve within 2 to 3 treatments. Because, again, this is an electricity that is running through the body at a low frequency. It's working on as we spoke of, the body is electrical energetic at a certain frequency and is balancing out that body's own energetic process. It's putting the body into a healing mechanism. So we're seeing some amazing things happen with the healing process. With our athletes, they're seeing that their endurance is improving. They're seeing recovery time cut at least by half. We're seeing the pain begin to resolve and reduce significantly, and it's all done naturally, utilizing and harnessing the body's healing ability. But this is a technology that we're very blessed to have, one of the few around to have this real microcurrent. And I say real because it's got to be certain frequencies. Back in the 30s, there was a doctor by the name of Dr. Rife, Royal Rife, and he was the first to start the process of studying this charge that the cells are at and the frequencies and vibrational levels. And he actually mapped out an energetic signature for every cell, organ, and tissue of the body. And this then evolved into German technology because then they continued studying it. But again, it's just harnessing the body's healing ability. And we're excited to partner with you, Tasso, because we're excited that we're going to be working together, and you all are going to have this technology. We're providing Tasso's location, and Tasso, for those of you who are interested in this technology, and this little device. In fact, we have a handheld unit now that is in this little handheld unit Tasso referred to is programmed the most healing of all these frequencies of microcurrent have been studied. The most healing, according to the European research, for healing, acceleration, and pain management, and injury recovery, and all these different issues is in this one little unit. And Tasso will have that available at his location for those folks that want to find out more about this or get a hold of this unit. Give Tasso a call. And if you want to get information on it, we'll be more than happy to. Tasso will have information there. I think Tasso, you and I, hopefully in the near future, will be doing some seminars together.
I'm sort of experimenting with it right now, and I've got it, Mike. It's so convenient to use. Is with my knee, what I'll do after a 15-hour workday, I'll go home, I'll ice my knee for a half hour, I'll elevate it, and then I'll take the ice packs off, and I'll take this little handheld thing. It looks like a little caterpillar, actually, is what it looks like. And I'll put it on, and it'll beep to me when I hit hot spots on where my thing is. And you were telling me it's really, Dr. Fahn's going to love it as well because it's tied into acupuncture points.
Yes, we're literally stimulating, because Chinese medicine, and one of the best one we have around is Dr. Fahn, as a Chinese physicians in the area. But we're talking about a science and a medicine that's been around for thousands of years. And what we're doing is we're stimulating these acupuncture points or acupressure points with this microcurrent technology, and the result is unbelievable. It's just beyond comprehension. We get so many. I'm getting emails every day from folks utilizing our little. We call it the Mighty Mini, and they're just seeing pain start to reduce. They're seeing health issues start to accelerate in the healing process, coupled with their taking specific vitamin supplements or their medication, and of course dietary changes and exercise. And we're seeing so many really neat things happening. And what's even more interesting, Tasso, is that for the gals out there, and the guys too, they can literally use this Mighty Mini for cosmetic purposes on lines and wrinkles and on bags under the eyes. They can literally, with the properties of ionphoresis, whatever they're using cosmetically for, let's say, serum C, glycolics, or whatever, they can drive it in to their skin with this unit and get tremendous results.
Well, when I first met Dr. Fahn, he was doing acupuncture facelifts.
Yes.
And then more recently, Marty Herp, our trigger point myotherapist, had some of this technology as well, and she had two little laser I guess little laser needles, the guns, whatever you would call it. And she would actually on my knee and give me some relief for this, is she would go to gallbladder 34, put the one device on the one, and then move around my knee and hit the other things, and it would cue her to when she was on the spot. It would go, it would go beep, and it was done. So as weird as this seems to us, because it is, people like to say alternative medicine. I prefer, and I think the way you practice it, we're better to call it complementary medicine.
Yes.
Is we have now integrated the health profession with things that empower, and with a lot of us, good, bad, or indifferent towards Obamacare. The one thing I think all of us can agree upon is that the impetus for your health, more than ever, is not going to fall on the insurance company, is not going to fall on the government, it's going to fall on you to take responsibility for your health. Whether you like it, love it, or hate Obamacare. I just, Ernie Cook, who is a lifelong friend of mine, I was talking to Ernie, and I said, Ernie, I want to have lunch because I need to understand the impact of this, because my goal is not to be the physique center, building, the beautiful bodies, which as many of those we can build are great, but there's a lot of places to do that. I want to be the guy that reverses disease. That's why Dr. Daniel Pompa, Dr. Josh Axe, Dr. Mike Epitropoulos, that's why you guys are in my circle now. I'm seeking out the physicians and the people who, number one, can educate me and tutor me and mentor me, and number three, that will help my members get better. I'm an older club. My average member is 51 years of age. I want those people to be there till, like I've got George Rogers, 96 years old, still drives his car, works out 5 days a week, comes in. He doesn't work out killer hard. He doesn't work out like the NFL kid I've got. But you know what he's doing? He's maintaining his wherewithal of who he is. He's fighting off dementia and Alzheimer's, and he's moving better. He's independent. You know, this is how we should be living. 71% of people in convalescent homes are not there because they have an issue medically. They're just too damn weak to do normal everyday things, right, Mike?
Absolutely, Tasso. Absolutely, and that's our seniors are really an example. And seniors, we're in that category ourselves. The bottom line is, it's not the age. It's what I emphasize, as you do too, Tasso, is it's not how long you live. It's the quality of life, and we want to empower our folks to have a quality of life while the Lord has blessed them with life. Because as you're referring to, we're seeing as we're seeing there's a decline. Even though people are living longer, their quality of life has gone down because they're just not getting the information they need and to be empowered to really have ultimate healing. So you and I are on a mission, and that mission is to really get the information out to empower those of the listeners out there to reach for their highest health potential, to accomplish ultimate healing. And we do that by giving them information that they're not getting anywhere else. And as I say, good health is a journey, it's not a destination. So, you know, the opportunity to speak with you today, Tassin, we appreciate all the fine work you do in this community. You're someone who cares and is passionate about making a difference in people's health. And like you and me both, it's a ministry. It's a calling. It's not a career.
Well, and sometimes I wonder when that calling's going to pay my bills. Well, Mike, hey, listen, people for your location, you know, they can get hold of you at healingphysician@aol.com.
Yes.
Phone number is 274-2520.
Yes.
And if they're confused about your location, everybody knows, I think, where Tomoka Elementary and where the PNC Bank is on Granada at the back entrance of the trails, the Granada entrance of the trails. You're basically right next to that intersection right there, and very easy to find your suite. And people can give you a call to set up a consultation. They can connect to you online with email. You know, we talked about the device that I'll be handling as I get more familiar with it.
Yes, absolutely. You know, really, it's today. You have to say this: Tasso has been a longtime friend. We've been blessed to be friends, and you know, it's exciting to combine forces with somebody like you, Tasso, because you truly are at the forefront of so much that's going on in the health arena here in the area, and we appreciate all your fine work.
Well, Mike, thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you today. Hopefully I'll be able to swing by there and see you and get a treatment, and we'll talk a little bit more, and as this moves on, I'm looking forward to and excited about it.
Thank you, Tasso. Have a blessed day, and blessed day to all those that are listening. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. God bless. So that's Mike Epitropoulos, again located on Granada, right by the intersection where Tomoka Elementary School, at the back entrance of the trails. I call it the back entrance, the Granada entrance of the trails. Healingphysician@aol.com, 274-2520. And it's a perfect dovetail to talk about our other sponsors of this show and give them great thanks. You know, in that conversation, we mentioned Dr. Fahn, one of the finest, you know, Chinese Oriental medicine doctors that we have in this area. Practices acupuncture and several other techniques. He's a herbologist. Dr. Fahn is located at 725 West Granada. His phone number is 615-1203. And, you know, part of the reason why I have not been able to go to Dr. Fahn is because he said to me, listen, you're taking some Western medications that I want you to see what they will do and not integrate the acupuncture. So this week I'll be starting to go back to him, but I still think that one of the biggest things that Dr. Fahn is able to do for us is relieve stress through his stress reduction treatments that he can do. They're a simple 30-minute treatment. You go in there. They're very inexpensive. And you know what? You're going to enjoy your weekend if you do it on a Thursday or Friday afternoon. And then our other sponsor, who is helping us to promote the Fitness on Demand program, Kalen's Furniture. I want to thank them very much. They have brought to the club 2 beautiful stressless chairs. And our theme for this promotion is, you may not be able to have a stressless life, but you can certainly have a stressless chair. And this chair allows everybody that walks in and says, this is my favorite machine in the whole club. And we've had one in the club for 12 years. And that's what sort of prompted me to approach Kalen and say, listen, can we have a partnership and give away one of these? And this is a $3,000 chair. You, by referring a friend, first of all, joining the club gets you in the drawing for some of our prizes, and then bringing your friends along. And as you do a friend a favor, and you get them involved in a healthy lifestyle program with us, that lifestyle program starts for only $14 enrollment fee and $20 card fee. And if you join our Body Coach program, which is our most popular membership, it pays your first month's dues as well. So we're off and running with a great membership from that point. The phone number is 672-6464. You can come sit in those beautiful chairs that Kalen's has brought to us. They're ergonomically built. It's very special. We've had Lloyd Davis on the phone to talk to us several times about the unique parts of this. We have a limited edition governor's chair that we'll be giving away. The ones you see are just the normal, everyday, chairs that are $2,400. But there's also a special. If you don't win, you can always go to Kalen's and get the special deal that they have for the Body's members. So I want to thank those two sponsors of the show, Dr. Fahn, who is integrated with Dr. Epitropoulos and helping us, as well as Kalen's Home Furnishings. Dr. Fahn's number again for that stress treatment or a free consultation is 615-1203. So we've got about 3 minutes left in the show. And I want to go back to the what we talked about earlier in the show as one of those pillars. And I think there's a lot of confusion for people when we talk about eating for anabolism, eating for fuel, making the body's metabolism ramp up through your eating rather than depriving the body while you eat. So, and I mentioned that we want to have amino acids because the amino acids are cellular building blocks for the proteins in our body. And sometimes we get confused and we say, well, we're going to go to the store and buy amino acids. And certainly that has its application. But really, we can eat through our food, and I'm one of these people that is 100% for supplementation. But we want, in the core of our eating, we want complete, efficient proteins that help our body as building blocks to build and maintain the muscles and things of that nature that we have going on in our body. And then these amino acids offer the structure for cellular repair, for growth, and maintaining the integrity of the cell. Now, to balance with that, you also need your protein sharing nutrients, which allow for a fuel supply that protects the building blocks that we eat. Sometimes we get into tendency where we want to cut our calories and we start to take the simple things to eat. We get a lot of carbohydrates in there, simple sugars, but I want to be very clear. Your lean proteins, here's some good examples. Chicken, turkey breast, egg whites, low-fat dairy. It doesn't have to be no fat. Low fat's fine. 1% milk, cottage cheese. I personally favor the 4% milk fat. I like the good fats that come in milk. For years, I was a skim milk promoter, but I must tell you the discoveries I've made in the last couple years of drinking real whole milk, not the stuff that goes through the pasteurization process. Huge benefits. Okay. Eating good soy products, good fish products, good whey products, okay? Protein-sharing nutrients are things like potatoes, sweet potatoes, avocados, brown rice, oatmeal, and veggies. Those things are focused to that, and we should get 4 lean proteins a day. The music tells me I only got about 30 seconds left, so I'm going to bid you adieu and tell you to have a great weekend. Remember, $14 starts your membership. Choose the membership you want at Bodez Personalized Fitness, 672-6464. Bodez by Tasso. Sean, you'll be on the air today with Mark in the afternoon.
Yes, I will. Thanks, Tasso.
Thanks again for covering, and everybody listening to Mark Bernier this afternoon. God bless. Have a great weekend, and thank you from Bodez by Tasso and Company.